Hello, guys. Welcome to chapter 3 of the series Mindset. So, today we are going to be talking about a very interesting concept which is called conviction. So, you guys must have seen me talk about things like read about a business, know more about it, right? Like stay in the area of competence, which Mr. Warren Buffett keeps saying. So what does it like mean actually? Like, why do you need conviction? Why do you need to know about individual businesses, right? Because see, you might be busy at your job, somebody else is busy doing something else, somebody is running his own other businesses, but why do some people come and tell you, like, you need conviction to buy stocks, right? And without conviction, you will never make money. Let's understand the concept now. Say, think about it. Say, if you have no idea, if let's say I talk about a company whose name is, say, Ultramarine Pigments, okay, and you don't even know what that company does. You don't even know what it makes. You have never visited the website. You don't know who runs the company. It's just that one of your friends or colleagues have come and said, "Okay, like some brokerage company has, initiated a buy on this, or the stock is going up, let's buy." You might go in, and I'll tell you this, okay? There will be times when you will make a lot of, returns. Say, for example, you got into that stock, let's say Ultramarine. Again, it's just for a name purpose, no stock recommendations. Let's say you get into the stock and the stock trebles. Yet, nothing happens to you. Why? Because I'll tell you the problem. Say, for example, you have no idea what you're doing. Then you will never be able to bring in big capital behind that stock. So what happens is your friend comes and tell you, or you read a brokerage report, you will put 10,000 rupees. Even if the stock becomes 3 times or 5 times, you're still poor. That is why you need conviction behind that business. Versus, let's say, for example, if you had known, okay, what the company is doing, why do you think the company's earnings will go up? Let's say, for example, there's another company that, let's say, you tracked, or let's say let's say, know about it for the first time, and you just read that the company has opened a new plant. Then you open the con call and you see that the management said, okay, yes, that plant is going to double my capacity. That means in an approximate level, you can double your sales. And if you have good operating leverage, the profit after tax can grow even at a faster pace than the rate at which your sales grow. Now you see, just based on this, you can develop a lot of conviction. You don't have to develop conviction by, reading a lot of annual reports and doing, meaningless research. You can develop conviction in 5 minutes. How? Let's say a company comes with a result, or let's say you hear the name of the company from your friend or the media, or from me, or from any other person. The first thing you need to check is, like, you have to think whether you understand the business. Further, you have to open the PPT, right? You see what are they selling. So let's say I'll tell you, if I open a presentation and I see that company is making, let's say, windmills, or let's say making graphite electrodes, I won't be able to make much money out of it. Why? Because I won't be able to relate to that product. But let's say if you're a banker, try to read more of banking stocks ka businesses, because then you'll be able to develop the conviction faster. Because see, once a company turns around, let's say in a particular sector, people working in that sector will have a much better idea and conviction that, okay, something good is happening, because they're in that particular sector. Got it? And on that particular day, they can, let's say, bring in a little bit capital. Because let's say if I tell you to bring in 5 lakh rupees behind a stock, you won't be able to just listen to your friends and put 5 lakhs. That's the problem in stock recommendations. That's why you might make some returns. You might go and tell people on Twitter, oh, I made 50% on the stock. My question is, kitna dala tha? How much did you put in? That is the main thing, right? So if you had put in, let's say, 5,000 rupees and the stock has gone up 50% even in 2 days, you still have made around 2,500 rupees. What happens in 2,500 rupees? Nothing, right? So you have to use the stock market to change your lifestyle, right? So you don't have control over the rate at which you're going to make money. You don't have control over the time horizon. But the only good thing that you have control upon is the capital you bring in. Think about this. A person with some conviction brings in, let's say, 10 lakhs to the market, and a person with no conviction will bring 10,000. The person with 10 lakhs only gets, let's say, a 20% return in that year, 20% return on one stock, let's say. Then his 10 lakhs becomes 12 lakhs. So his profits are 2 lakhs. Let's say the person who bought like 10,000 rupees, his stock maybe has gone up 5 times in that 1 year. 5 times means 500% versus 20% for the other person. His 10,000 becomes only 50,000. Do you think that changes his life? No. And this is what happens. People keep doing this behavioral mistake again and again and again in the market. They allocate poorly, they diversify widely, and they don't have conviction behind that stock. Now, conviction, as I told you, right? You open the investor presentation, like in the equity research program, like all the members know this. And of course, like if you're not part of this, part of the equity research program, you can always reach out to me. Okay, where we are going to be. So I'll be personally mentoring you in your equity research learning journey, how to develop conviction and bet big in the market and learn active investing. I'm going to teach you all those things. If you are interested, you can of course reach out to me in my number, and my email ID is also there. But having said all this, the goal is to bring in big money, because on that big money, you stand a chance to make something significant. That is why conviction is needed. Or else anybody would have listened to stock recommendations and they're still not doing enough, even if the stocks go up. Got it? So conviction is critical. It's that step one. Conviction, high conviction leads to high allocation. So if you are in the, as I said, if you are in the IT sector, check for the IT stocks, because you won't feel that you're reading something. You would feel like you're playing with something because you spend years in the sector. So start with those sectors where you're comfortable with. So let's say for me, banking, because I have a background in banking and finance. So I start with the banking sector. Whenever I start my research for a quarter, I start by seeing opportunities in that space. Because if there's an opportunity in the whole financial space, I'll be able to quickly pick it up. Similarly, if there is, let's say, something wrong in that space, I'll be able to quickly sell my stock and run away with that money as well. But if I put in money in a sector that I do not understand because my friend is investing it or my advisor has told me to invest in, A, I would never have the guts to bring in big capital. B, even if you bring in big capital and something wrong happens in the sector, you will never be able to know it. By the time you understand that something is wrong, you would have lost like probably 50-60% of your money. So conviction is absolutely critical. And if you don't develop conviction, like how do you build a conviction? You get the investor presentation, you just see whether you understand the business. That's point one. Then you see whether sales have gone up, PAT has gone up, margins have gone up, what is the return on equity on that business, right? Then you can do a DuPont analysis. I mean, all these things like we cover in the equity research program. So if you're interested to learn all this in a process way, of course, you can reach out to me. All I'm trying to say is, like, if you do not develop conviction, you will never be able to make it big money, because you will have to bring in substantial money. Like yesterday's session, what we had was, Kelai, if you allocate poorly, then your whole portfolio becomes a jungle. If you have less money, you need to make a concentrated portfolio. And if you start with a huge amount of money, then you can diversify, because then what you're looking for, a compounding engine. I mean, the whole portfolio becomes a compounding engine and you protect the big money, right? But if you're starting small and you diversify, you won't make anything significant. Point number one. Second is, even if you start small or you start big, it doesn't matter unless if you have no idea where you're going. So please, like, for example, like, you understand the FMCG space, auto space, QSR space, right? Because you've been using those products, right? Start with those sectors. Financials is another. Everybody has a credit card, a debit card, right? Many people have taken personal loans, home loans, EMIs, and all those things. So they understand the financials, right? Start with something that you understand, and then read about the company's quarterly results, the PPTs, try to read the con call transcript, and don't just try to just listen to recommendations, because if you listen to recommendation, you'll never be able to make big money. You'll bring in small money. Even if it grows, it doesn't make any difference. Even if that money falls 50%, you also know subconsciously कि क्या फर्क पड़ेगा. 10,000 लाया था, 5,000 हो गया. अगले महीने का salary तो है. So that is why you never take the market seriously, and you keep on wasting years after years in the market, thinking that you are learning, but you are not learning. Your portfolio doesn't grow, you can't bring in big capital, and you just waste your 20s and then your 30s, and by the time you're 40s, you'll be like, nahi, stock market to mere bas ki baat nahi hai. Jabki you didn't even learn the skill the right way. So on that note, I hope you enjoyed this session. Keep all these things in mind, okay? The allocation thing and the conviction thing. So thank you so much. Until next time, goodbye.